Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
Good. I gotta be honest, I've been looking forward to this all day. And ever since we set it up, I'm really excited. Just because some folks are gonna watch this back and are watching us live right now. Just could you share a little bit about your journey? We have known each other a very long time. I'd like to share that. You actually were in some of my Weight Watchers meetings in New York City many years ago.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
we met there. You were a huge part of my experience there on my Saturday morning meetings at Park Avenue South, and your family was there. So just thought it'd be really super great for you to just reflect on your weight journey between then and now and where you are and what you're thinking. And then we'll dig in on a challenge and see if we can't get you some outcomes.
Sounds good. So, like Liz said, I was a Weight Watchers member for many, many, many years. I think originally I started in Weight Watchers when I was about 10 years old. And I went with my mom and my brother, and it was ups and downs. So the doctor told me to get off of the Weight Watchers program, and then I rejoined later when I was in high school and then in college. And then after college is when I met Liz, and I'm a pre-K teacher for the DOE. And my weight journey has been like crazy because originally I um, I don't think I was in it for myself in the beginning. I think I was kind of trying to just have like an image what I'm supposed to look like. And but through working with you, Liz, actually, I found that I love to exercise, that just watching what I ate and just like measuring out things and just feeling good for myself is what ended up have I ended up losing about 30 pounds on Weight Watchers, gained it back, lost it again. But during that journey, I think is when I started to really just focus on myself, because I'm the type of person that always does for everybody else and never makes that time for myself. And I think that's when I started to try to focus on myself a little bit more. It
Mhm.
wasn't 100%, but I started to do that more. And then I fast track after that. I had a liver transplant in 2019, and I actually had started to lose weight, and I had lost about, I want to say about 20 pounds from what I regained, and I got really sick. I had allergic reaction to blood pressure medicine, and I had to get a liver transplant. And thank God I got it. Everything's going well. I also had. They found out I had cancer, so I had endometrial cancer right after I had the transplant, and so like I think after all of that, I just kind of was like, I just need something for myself because um, life is short and I really just want to focus on being healthy. And for that means mental health, physical health, and just emotionally healthy. And that's why I joined Target 100, because it had all these different elements that Weight Watchers didn't have. And I just felt like being on Weight Watchers was like a roller coaster for me. And it
Mhm.
wasn't hitting what I needed, because I've been on it for years and it's still the same thing.
Mhm.
So then I joined Target 100. I had the beginners class with David, and that was amazing. The people in the group were amazing, and everybody just builds you up and just gives you encouragement when you're feeling a little out of place. And even if they're not giving it directly to you verbally, if you read some of the comments on the community, everybody just gives ideas and they're just so supportive of one another. And I think that really is so special about the program. I'm
Mhm.
on the coaches as well. Everybody is very supportive, but I just like the community, and it's like nobody's negative. to one another. And you may be negative towards yourself, but then everybody tries to get you out of that. So you're not in that headspace for very long.
A mean girl, she's not allowed to hang out.
Right, right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And on the program, I've lost about 13 pounds. Um, and I was joking with my mom, because I said, "Oh, I can fit a regular towel around myself now." It's like, that's a goal.
What a good non-scale victory.
Yeah. So that felt good, and down one dress size. Everything fits a lot better. I have so much more energy now, and I just feel like I'm in a good place. You know.
Hey. Well, that's awesome. I'm just thinking about a couple of the things you said were so like they gave me an aha moment about how you said, like, I was 10, I went with my mom and my brother, and then you said, and I realized that I wasn't really doing it for me.
Yeah.
I thought, I was put in a diet center at 14.
Mm,
And now you work with children,
yeah.
and now you're an adult looking at a 10-year-old child. I know you work with pre-K, but I'm sure you're around other kids all the time.
Yeah.
You look at that 10-year-old child and go, like, how impressionable and how there's so much learning going on at that moment that, I mean, you just go, wow, what I took in and I created normalcy around at a very young age was this sort of idea of dieting and of weight loss and of, the way I took it into my own life was like that I was sent there. I wasn't taken there. I was sent there by my family, right? Like, and so I took that something was wrong with me and that I needed fixing.
Hmm.
And that created a lifetime of chasing this image that I had made up at that time that I thought others wanted me
Right.
to be lovable.
Hmm.
And to hear you verbalize that, it really hit me that I had never verbalized it that way, that I wasn't, how could you at 10 or 14 be doing this for yourself? You're doing it to please your mother, you're doing it to please your friends, to hopefully fit in, whatever, you know?
Right. And I didn't actually realize it until I was an adult, like thinking back on it until I was like, I think emotionally um, secure for myself.
Mhm.
And I started putting myself first is when I kind of realized it. I'm like, that was never for me before. And, that's why I never had success because I
Mhm.
wasn't doing it for myself.
Mhm.
So,
Well, and what I hear so clearly from you now is that it's, because of this has been an unbelievable journey that you've gone on. I mean, who can say that in a very short period of time they survived a liver transplant and cancer and then a global pandemic, like, and a job like yours, which was so difficult to transfer over to pre-K online. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure how you worked it out, but then gravitating here, and you've been such a huge part of this community and such an important member. And it's such a different thing that we're doing here, right? It's not the, hey, let's lose and regain, let's lose, and who cares if we sideline for a minute? That's great too. Like, let's learn to sideline ourselves when we're not in the losing mode versus lose some, gain some, lose some, gain some. Right. So this is really exciting for me to hear you seeing this as a project that can be sustained.
and it's been steady. So, the weight loss, it hasn't been quick, but it's been steady,
Yeah.
which for me which is unbelievable because it's always I lose, I gain, I lose, I gain.
Mhm.
And it's consistently gone down. Maybe I've been like plateaued for a while, but there was it maybe 1 or 2 pounds, but never like a high gain.
Yeah.
And it was just steady. And I don't even really focus on the weight, but that's what I've noticed, because of the weighing myself all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting to me,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's never happened before.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. Well, and you have, you have a very hectic life. I mean, you're a teacher, you've got a lot of things going on. And you've found a way to balance this program even into a life like that. I have a lot of teachers who really struggle because of many different pieces of their lives. Even just not being able to get up and go to the bathroom when you want to, so drinking the water becomes difficult.
Yeah.
So you've really integrated this. Where are you now and what are you focused on? I mean, where is your head and what are the next steps in your own mind around this process?
So I watched um the um video webinar that you had with the doctor.
Dr. Hemingway, yes.
And so remember I was telling you before that I was having a lot of trouble sleeping. My sleep was just like crazy and I just really kept waking up and couldn't go to sleep. So that's what I've been working on for the last couple of weeks ever since I saw that. And so I don't eat after because I go to bed early. I wake up at like 4:45
Mhm, mhm,
and I'm at work by try to be by 7 or a little bit before.
mhm.
And so I go to bed between 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
If I'm up later than that, it kind of throws me off. So I've been trying to stop 5. So like when I come home, I'll change, relax, and then I'll have something to eat and then, um, you know, go to bed at that time.
Wow.
So yeah, so 3 hours. I've been
Yeah,
trying to do the
right.
3 hours.
That's
When I
amazing.
guess whenever I go to bed for 3 hours before, but usually that's about the time.
But
So
that's so fantastic. And just for the people who didn't see this, so Dr. Hemingway was saying, like, it's really, really important for us to have a curfew, like a food curfew before bed. And he was recommending 3 hours so that you can actually kind of process that food, because processing food is a very difficult event for our bodies, and it actually raises our body temperature and it disrupts us, right? That's why we're always focused here at Target 100 on late night eating, right? Because that seems to be one of these really, really one of these things that people do. But now that you understand the infinity loop, you understand why, right? You
right.
don't eat 3 hours before, and
Mhm.
your body gets to kind of cool down and finish its work and relax down. You can get that body to really go into a much deeper sleep. Have
Mhm.
you noticed a difference?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I sleep so much better and
Mhm.
it's consistent sleep where I don't wake up unless I drank too much water. It's a consistent sleep the whole night. And I haven't had that in a while. And it started like this past weekend. Because I guess my body was getting used to it or whatever. I don't
Yes.
know. Uh Starting on the weekend, I've had such great sleep. It's been wonderful. And I think that's what I needed, just to make sure that it's the 3 hours before and it's good.
Well, and wow, again, this isn't about a diet and us
Mhm.
being like, you can only have these foods
Right.
from this list,
Mhm.
right? This is about a behavior that you're changing. This is about a behavior, not about some, magical. This isn't magic.
Mhm.
And 3 hours, guys, isn't perfect either. If it's only two, don't beat yourself up and fall off the program, right? We're always talking about this. He said three, we always say ish after everything,
Mhm.
3-ish hours, right? Gives your body that chance. So when you talked about that consistent weight loss, that's where my mind always goes, is that
Yeah.
when I see consistent weight loss, it's because the person is consistently looking at behaviors in their lives that they would like to be shifting and adjusting that would bring them closer to these great outcomes. So as you can imagine, if you were eating closer to bedtime, usually what we eat after dinner and what we eat in front of the TV, they're usually not great choices to begin with. They're just sort of like driven by just tiredness and habit patterns and worry about the next day and whatever it is.
Mhm.
And you took all of that out and you just had your dinner, you gave your body time to process the food, then you slept better.
Right.
And we talk about the magic of sleep as a weight loss
It's
magical cell.
amazing. It's amazing because even my body like felt lighter. Like
Yeah,
my bones didn't hurt as much, my muscles didn't hurt as much. It's your my body needed the rest.
your
Like
body
every
needs.
part of my body needed the rest.
What is it like when you get one of those nights of sleep, like, or a string of those nights of sleep, you're just like, oh my God, I didn't realize what I was missing.
You know, selling my brother, it was like I don't know how to describe it. Like, just like I felt lighter,
Mhm.
you know.
And that is true. I mean, there is a lot of detoxification that occurs when you sleep well.
Mhm.
That is our natural detox time.
And had
So,
energy. I had a lot of energy
yeah,
that I don't usually have in the mornings, when you're waking up tired. I don't
yes,
usually have that. And I just felt like I could do more.
amazing,
And
amazing.
the
And
last few years, because of the transplant, my body's just been tired.
mhm,
And I think, starting this program really helped me just feel better, and be able to do more, because even when I first started the program, like the exercise was still hard for me.
mhm.
And that's something I'm working towards. Like I have this planner. I'm not doing, haven't been tracking online, but my friend, so lovely of her, she got me this planner. I don't know if you can see it.
Ooh, I love it.
It's a weekly planner, but it has like how you have the worksheets. It's like the worksheet.
It's
So it has,
very similar to the worksheet.
yeah, it has the plan on the week plan, and then it has to-do list, and it
Mhm.
has like my top priorities, and then like
Mm,
grocery list, meal plan.
love it.
It's just great. It's like, so I've been using that, and it even has a habit tracker.
I
So I've
love
been doing I've been doing that for my sleep. So eating before 3 hours before bed. And so Wednesday was that's the day that I take for myself, and my brother and I watch like a couple shows
it.
together.
Uh-huh.
And so that day I ate after I didn't eat the 3 hours before, but I still slept okay. Not
Oh,
as good as the others, but I think because I been doing it, it was okay to do that one
yeah,
one day.
yeah.
So, and that was great, but I just checked off, on the weekdays, the days that I've done it,
I love it.
and then
Love
the
it.
next on the one. So I've been trying to do that. And I thought that planner was it's so helpful.
That's so helpful. I love it. I think this is so, again, so important. What we're always trying to help people understand is that this is a continuous process. I am continuously in the process,
Yeah.
personally working on my steps. I just took a super extra long dog walk with the dogs. I've been really trying to work on my movement patterns again. And I've been at this. I wrote a book. There's
Mhm.
no graduation, guys. And that's not in a bad way. It's
No,
actually super fun to look in on what are the things
right.
that I think will really move the needle. And you then have 6 pillars to think about. So sleep is always this very surprising one for folks that it is such a powerful driver, because if you don't have it, you don't have energy. So you don't work out. So you don't eat well. So you don't feel like you're on track, right? It collapses so many of the other pillars.
Mhm.
And it's the one that when you get it right, and if it's easy for you, use it. Like I'm a good sleeper and I just leverage it. I'm like not doing so well, really considering a cookie or a glass of wine tonight, or I'm going to just go upstairs and go to bed.
Yes.
I'm
Mhm.
going to pull that bed sleep lever right now. I do it all the time.
Mhm.
So I love that we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what is your challenge? Like what would you say is the hardest part for you and something we could work on?
The exercise. That's
Great.
the hardest for
Yeah.
me. And I love to exercise. It's just getting back into it. And I think for me, the big issue, um, I'm not a person that can push myself to do stuff at home.
Mhm,
I've been doing the bike in the house
mhm.
and going for walks. That's what I've been starting out doing.
Wow.
And but like, I'm a person that likes to go to the classes and
Uh-huh,
stuff. And
uh-huh.
because of COVID and because of the transplant, like I've been very nervous to go
Sure.
back to um, like certain classes that I really like. Um, I do go to yoga at this aqua studio downtown, which, I loved going into the pool. And then my doctor said, as long as it like you're 6 feet apart, you can go. And if it's not, then I wouldn't recommend it, because you can't wear the masks. When
Yeah.
in the yoga class, I wear the mask, so I'm
Right.
okay.
Right.
But any like intense workout that I do, I feel like it would be hard for me to wear the mask.
Yeah.
So that's where my head is at with that stuff. Because I love Pilates. I used to do Pilates. I used to do the strength training
Uh-huh.
with with a trainer.
Uh-huh.
Um, I before everything before a transplant.
Yeah.
So I used to do all that stuff, and like I really loved it.
Yeah.
So just getting back to that, like slowly, I would really like to focus on that. So I did put to sign up for an aqua class that maybe is not super crowded.
Yep.
And then, uh, yeah, that's
I
all I
love it. Okay. So that's I love where your head is going. I love,
have.
you're talking about creeping in on it slowly. I'm proud of you. If you're not an exercise at home type person and you're
Yeah.
getting on the bike and doing the walks, that's wonderful. That and you want that option. I made a horrible video with my hair back and I'm on the treadmill this morning and I was like, people, I gotta remind you, it's so dark. I couldn't go outside this morning, and it's so cold that I couldn't go outside this morning. So I'm here on my treadmill for the first time this season. And you
Mhm.
know what? I knew exactly what to do because I've been working on this for so long. We're about to transition into indoor, workouts when people have been doing things outside and running and all that. So having that transition plan, and you're in the perfect spot. We can call yours a transition plan too, just a transition back to that sort of pre-COVID exercise level.
Right.
I love that you mentioned the strength training and that you liked it. I
Mhm.
wondered if you had a trainer, and would you be comfortable wearing a mask in a gym at this point to do strength
I,
training?
I don't know. Maybe.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
just going to be honest. I did work out with a
Mhm.
mask at the tail end of COVID, um, and then got boosted, and now I do work out without a mask in a gym, but I don't have the health concerns that you do, and we have to be super safe for you. So you have to really navigate number one what you're comfortable with.
Mhm.
But the strength training piece, because you're not huffing and puffing, you're
Mhm.
really concentrating on muscles
Right.
and slower movements. You're not breathing really heavily. I
Mhm.
found that really manageable. Also,
Okay.
I will say there's an Under Armour mask, and I'll put it on your notes
Okay.
to search out. It's an awesome mask. I even wore it when I would go kickboxing, which is high intensity. It
Mhm.
just tents the mask up off your face, but it's really well fitted
Okay.
around your face. But it's just it is like a little piece of wire that tents it up, makes it like, I can totally do this.
Okay.
So,
Good.
um, yeah, so you have to decide on your comfort level of like, and I would say this for you is all about making those phone calls and saying, hey, let me tell you who like call about the aqua class. Just say, hey, I have, you know, a reason to be concerned and I want to make sure this class is small. And if you get there and you're uncomfortable, turn around and go home. You know what I mean? If it's not what you feel comfortable doing, that's the last thing we want to do in this moment with your exercise.
Yeah. I mean, I did that. I signed up for one class for um last Monday, and then uh the class got full. When I
Mhm.
signed up for it, was there was like seven, half of the class was there. And then when I saw it that morning, it was like 14 people, and there's 14 bikes in the pool. So I just canceled it because I didn't feel comfortable. So
Good. And I think that's a really great way to go about it is like take
mhm.
a look at those classes. I wondered if they had private aqua,
I don't know. I should find out. That's a good idea. I'm gonna write that
just or even like, you could ask a small, do they have small group class, or a private, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is like getting with a personal trainer who could, you could request that they wear a mask, you wear a mask, you're in the gym, but you could stay in places that were really much further from. And because you're a school teacher, you have a little bit of odd hours. So
I
it might
do.
be that, right? So you could
Right.
go to the gym when it's not crazy. It's not like right before work or right after work. You could
Yeah.
go in that 3 o'clock area when it's pretty quiet. So that's just another idea for you. Um, and it's interesting. You said you don't like getting yourself like doing it at home, but you're doing it. How are you making that happen?
I don't like it, but I do
Oh, right,
it.
just like we do it.
I do.
um,
And
is,
yeah, my brother gave me uh, let me join the Peloton
yeah.
for online classes. But I haven't. I did one class. It uh, was the what is it? The meditative yoga,
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
restorative yoga. I did
Yep.
that,
Yep.
and that was good because I was having trouble sleeping. So I tried to do
Right.
that before I went to bed, and it helped a little bit, but it wasn't.
But the food piece is the
Yeah.
magic, right?
Yes. Yes.
Another lesson of Target 100, right, is that
Mhm.
you try things. You try the restorative yoga. You continue to listen. You go to the Dr. Thomas Hemingway. You listen. You go, oh, that's interesting. I'd like to try that now too.
Right.
Right?
And but the funny part is that, when you're on Target 100, you hear things over and over again.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't click right away.
No.
and then and then you have that aha moment. You're like, oh, but you've read it.
Yeah.
It was in the classes.
Right. When
So,
you're ready to hear it, when you've gotten to that moment, you
right.
will, yeah. So, no, I love it. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking that's great that he gave you the Peloton. It sounds like you have a bike in the house too that you could do
Yeah.
Peloton
It's
on,
not a Peloton bike,
that you could
but it
still do the
but I
classes.
could still do, yeah, I could still like just turn it on online and do
Yeah.
some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Only because also like, there's some super fun classes. I don't know if you do, is that what you do when you get on the bike? Any of the Peloton?
I just listen to my music and
You
and
go.
yeah.
I might challenge you to do a couple of Peloton classes.
Okay.
And I will even send you, like, are you a Beyonce fan?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's like a Beyonce class that just is gonna melt your soul. Like if you're, so they do all these fun themes so
Mhm.
that you really are completely entertained the whole time. So you're not sitting there kind of like thinking about the 10 minutes that um that are going by. So just because let's play around with a couple of these, right? They have all different, they have a great filter. You could do 20 minutes, you can do 15 minutes, but also then there are these great add-ons, like you could do a 10-minute arm circuit. And so just right when you get off the bike, you could do a 10-minute arm circuit because you're kind of marrying those things up.
Mhm.
And they're all super fun. The
Okay.
classes are just wild. So I will send you just like a couple of my faves. There's a Broadway ride that's super fun, like these really, really great. So uh Michael Jackson, like you name it, any big, great stars there are have their own rides. So I'm a big fan of it as a supplement, right? So
Mhm.
I'm a really big person to talk about repertoire. And that's why I was so happy about my long-standing repertoire this morning. The minute I saw it's too dark and too cold, I don't even flinch. I walk downstairs, I get on that treadmill,
Mhm.
have a whole bunch of things that are my fall and winter and early spring workouts. And as that sunlight changes and the temperatures change, I find myself going and rotating into, I'm going to play tennis with David and I'm going to do this and we're going to take a run and I'm going to, whatever it is. So I want to always think about exercise as this wonderful palette
Mhm.
that has different, on a day where you're like, oh, I'm really squeezed, this morning, I'm really squeezed too. Like I didn't have a lot of time, but I can just do a 35-minute run walk on the treadmill and I got something done,
Right. And then
so
and then what I do sometimes at work is like I'll like walk around the building, just to get some steps in. If I've just been sitting too long and I'm on a break or something, I'll just walk around, you
Yeah.
know, the building.
So I
So
love this. So there's Peloton, there are aqua classes. We could think about, reaching out, seeing if there's a private personal trainer that would, be right for you. I will say, really work to find a personal trainer who is in your age range and maybe a woman as well. It's
okay.
kind of like looking for a unicorn, guys, but there are more of us are coming. We're starting to see this niche and this need, is that, really going with a young guy at our age is not usually the greatest because we get pushed to do things that we're not quite ready for and they don't understand our bodies as well.
Yeah.
So, if possible, you really want to be with someone our age. Also, just thinking of, there are some great YouTube channels and things like that that you could do in your apartment with
Yeah.
very little, if even not anything but like a chair to do dips on and things like that.
I
So,
have I have 5 pound weights and
oh, great.
I have a mat. I
Yeah,
have some yoga stuff.
right.
And I did have a Pilates reformer actually in the
Oh,
apartment, but then when I had the transplant, they moved stuff and I think it's in storage. So I'd have
okay.
to see about maybe getting that out as
Oh
well.
my goodness, that would be great too. I was thinking of Pilates reformer class because again, it's not high intensity. You're pretty far away from each other on the reformers. And in New York, they probably squish them right together, actually.
They're
But
pretty close, but I think they may be maybe not 6 feet, but maybe 3 feet.
yeah, yeah, in New York, it's like you can touch each other,
But that I could get maybe
You
private
could. You
sessions for
could do
that. Yeah.
private Pilates, right? So we're coming up with a lot of great ideas. Where do you put this in your day? Is it an after school, before school?
It would be after, and it would
I was
because
gonna say you're up at
I
4:45.
know. No,
Right,
it
you
can't be
can't really
before,
get up
which
too
I
early.
wish because like when I'm off, I'd love to do morning classes
Okay,
because to start your day in like
yeah,
such a great way. Um, but it would have to either be after work or on the weekend. So
okay. And what
mm,
are you aiming for? Like I like to ask that too. Like, where are you now? Are you at 1 day a week getting on that bike? Is it something? What is your goal over time?
three
Over
days,
time,
3 days
3 days.
on the bike,
Uh huh.
and then I do the yoga on Saturdays.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah,
So are you looking to kind of replace the bike a
replace the
little bit?
bike or add a day.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So I think that's perfect. So if we're looking at 4
Mhm.
exercise sessions at a week,
Mhm.
really looking at that weekend as the best time for it because you do love to do it first thing, like getting that and then you have more time, you have the opportunities there to get 2 out of the way. And then that just leaves 2 during the week as we get to that 4. I'd say,
Mhm.
like, stick with 3 for a while till it gets really solid,
Okay.
and then look to add that. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I love it. I love it. Great.
Sounds
So,
good.
yeah, what else? What other challenges?
I'm good with the water still.
Mhm.
The carbs, I've been revisiting that. so I,
What
s-
does that
so
mean, revisiting the carbs?
just I think tracking because I
Uh-huh,
wasn't tracking,
uh-huh.
because I had like my staples and I would do that, but then when I change something, I don't always it's always an ish. It's
Yeah.
always 100-ish. So what I did this past week is I made egg muffins
Mhm.
for the week. So I have them for the week.
Wonderful.
And so that was my breakfast. And I knew that those were 9 carbs
Yeah.
for each egg muffin. And then or if I didn't have that, the other choice this week was um, the yogurt, the plain yogurt, which is 5, and then some blackberries. I had that, and that was my breakfast for um, every day this week. So that was covered, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to think about it.
Yay, just
And then
taking the decisions out, guys. Take
yeah,
the
and
decisions.
then like then I just kind of focused on dinner because I always use leftovers
Mhm.
for my lunch. So, and as long as you make a couple of different things, you have different things for lunch. So, um, that's what I mean by refocusing. I was just preparing myself
Yeah.
for the week, and I
I
had slacked off on that. So,
love it.
yeah, so like I made a butternut squash soup and
Wow,
salmon. I
nice.
made like a grilled chicken, and with the Italian dressing,
Yeah.
as you know, and then I like with mixed vegetables. I had salad one day, and then tomorrow is going to be the cauliflower pizza with
Mm.
pepperoni from Costco.
Yeah.
That's the treat. Like my mother and I always have that. So that's
Nice. I love
yeah.
it. You've got
And
the
then
whole family involved, it
yeah,
sounds
and then salad, and then
like.
salad with that. So, and then Saturday, having my one of my friends over for her birthday, and that's the day that we're having some chicken wings and a broccoli salad.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so
Beautiful. So you're all set. Like you
yeah,
really are planning it out. You've got
yeah,
it all just kind of like laid out. You're in
yeah,
a really good rhythm here. When you think about the hardest moments, as you think of people watching and maybe they're not having the easiest time of it right now,
mhm.
what were those moments like the that you've come through in this process? Like what are some of those ahas that you hope someone else would hear from you?
I think for me, I think really having the transplant changed me, and I guess the outlook I have on just life in general. So I try not to be hard on myself because that was my main thing, is that negative Nelly up there, you know, always, you know, saying that I need to do this, or I need to do that, or um I don't look like everybody else is supposed to look, which I don't even know what that means, you know. And just I just try to do things that make me feel good.
Hmm.
And whether that's, eating right, you know, but planning in advance,
Yeah.
and making stuff that I like to eat, because if I don't like it, then it's just going to feel like a diet, and it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, just take it one day at a time, because even like the exercise and the movement, I would say last year was very difficult for me, because I was home for COVID was right when I came home from the transplant, basically. And so I was stuck there. And I physically couldn't move as much, and do as much. And then the year after that, it was I was teaching remotely. So again, I'm home. So last year was the first year I was back in the classroom, and everything just seemed hard. And things are always going to be hard, but you
Mm.
have to kind of push through it and think really think about it. Are you doing it for yourself? And if you are, then just take it one step at a time. Like when I started the program, we did each pillar 1 week, 1 week, 1 week, right?
Mhm.
And then even when we did it 1 week, I still sometimes just focus on
Yeah.
one or two pillars,
Yes.
because you can't focus on everything all the time. You will go crazy. So you just have to take it one step at a time, and you have to do what's right for yourself. And even if that means, okay, take a day off, you need a day off, just take the day. What is it going to hurt you if you go back the next day, and get back on? Life is continuous, and you have to continue living. And why not live healthy and happy and just enjoy yourself and those around you, and that's what I feel like. I just love being with my friends and my family, and I just want to be here to be able to continue that.
Oh, I love it. We had a beautiful meeting earlier this week in our mastery course, and we talked about our why, right? And yours is so clear.
Mhm.
You're very specific. I love my friends and I might love my family and I like being here with them on this planet, you know? And you had that moment where that fear of not being able to have that. And so then your why of getting up and doing that bike is so that you can enjoy that. But I think like the theme of this call is like what I'm really taking out of this is this need for anyone listening, like to really spend some time trying to untangle for yourself
Mhm.
who are you doing this for?
Yeah.
Who are you doing this for? Because I mean, it can get really clouded, especially if like you and me, you know, we were doing this for some other reason or for somebody else or to please someone or hope they loved us
Yeah.
for so long and thought that it made us a better person in other people's eyes that certainly became my motivation.
Right.
It was like a righteousness if I was doing this and holding this because that meant I was better than, right? I was good. And if I wasn't, I was therefore bad and I was therefore not lovable and all of those things, such a harsh contrast there. So really thinking, you know, why am I doing this? And who am I doing this for? Because if ultimately you could sit with yourself and say, I love me. I
Mhm.
love me and because my shape isn't what's been traditionally shown in the media or but I love it. I have so many ladies who it's been a journey of like going, I was trying to be this person that I thought I saw my whole life, but I actually really love my body and the shape of my body. It's really, really I like it and
Mhm.
I like how I'm built. And it took them really long time to come to that self love and that they were not working a program to try to look like somebody else's expectation or live up to else's expectation, but this instead, this internal driver to feel the way you feel when you wake up from a night's sleep, like you've been waking up and you go, oh, my life is better today. It
Mhm.
is more focused, it's clearer, it's more vibrant because of what I did for myself. This isn't for the number on the scale.
Right.
This is for the quality of your life. So I really hope everyone will take some time and really think about who are you doing this for? And it's something to journal, right? It's something to like actually sit down and really think about because if it's not coming from you, like
Yeah.
you and me, you know, you're going to be cycling through this. And then even when it is for you, ultimately, when you've decided, no, I want this, I want to feel like I heard Tiffany saying she's feeling, I want to live this vibrant life. I want energy. I want this. Even then, it's not the process that you were sold.
Right.
It's so much about what you're talking about today, which is can I uncover one behavior, one thing, and it's not sexy and it's not like I'm gonna lose 25 pounds in 4 weeks and be done with this thing. It's an ongoing introspective journey of self.
Right. And just take your time. Like,
Take your time.
there's no, I mean, it's no rush. As long as you keep doing the program, it will come off.
Yeah.
You will feel good. And, you will be in that better headspace because you're doing all of this for yourself.
Yeah. Did you have any of those moments, like when you were, especially in the beginner's course, where you were feeling the old diet pull, like, and the diet mentality pull at any point where you were like,
Um,
oh, and had to
I
relearn?
I think I think when the beginning, I think I was thinking, oh, I have to track this, I have to track that, and like tracking um and that kind of mentality.
Yeah,
I
that
think
triggers a lot of
yes,
our old
that
behavior.
yeah, and I think that's why like this for me is maybe better than inputting it all of it all the time into the web. But that and I think the weighing myself in the beginning,
Mhm.
I kind of I didn't take it as data like I
Mhm,
do now. I
mhm,
think that's why in the beginning I wouldn't weigh myself all the time.
mhm.
Like every day I wouldn't do it because I used to do it, but I used to do weigh myself every day as obsessive,
Yeah,
and like, oh, did it come off? Did the pounds come off? Did the
yeah,
pound,
yeah,
I went back up. That's how I used to do it. But
yeah.
now I think because I waited, like I would weigh myself weekly,
Mhm,
and then I started to weigh myself every day,
mhm.
and but I take that information in and it doesn't trigger me like it used to trigger me in the beginning.
Yeah,
And I think those were the two things that really triggered me
yeah.
in the beginning. But now it's like, whatever, get off the scale.
Well, I love that, and those are the 2 they're the 2 that are so, they were difficult for me to put in the plan,
Mhm.
right? But there's no real learning until I can shift you to that place of like,
Right.
"Oh, man, I this little metal box is just telling me some data. And once
Mhm.
you put it there, it can never have power over you again. So
Right.
you just go look at it more often, which triggers all of these other behaviors and thoughts about, like, huh, isn't that interesting? And what would I like to see happen? And what do I want to try to see if I can achieve that?
Mhm.
When it's coming from that space versus it being the decider of our day, of our emotions, of our outcomes, it's just completely out of whack. And I think
Mhm.
many of us come from diets that did put us in those situations, over and over again. And it can that and tracking can be very triggering and it's great to hear you say this. And I hope people are really listening, is like, both of those pieces are not meant as judgments, they are meant as tools. And
Mhm.
I say you put some tools in your backpack, and now you hear it. Tiffany is kind of found her own path and a journal that works, and she's kind of like working with the breakfasts that work for her and this week. And it's not like I'm tracking because I have to stay in a budget, because it's I'm tracking because it helps reduce my decisions for the week, and that makes me a happier person.
Yes.
Right? Like, you're like, "I don't have to think about breakfast," which really helps my
Which is
life.
like the 555,
Yeah,
That's
the
that's
5 by 5.
basically what it is, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, so find, I mean, everything you've done, which is to find your own path with each and every pillar, and to continue listening, right? That's the beautiful thing I hear from you, is you continue to listen, you continue to be willing to try. You're willing to try a Peloton ride, a Broadway ride, or a Beyonce ride. Like, you're willing to do, try, reach out. We're in the action, the contemplation to action phase, where you've been pre-contemplating some of this exercise stuff. Now you and I have moved it. I'm going to send you your notes,
Okay.
and I'm going to follow up with you and say, like, hey, what'd you learn? And
Right.
that's the layer of accountability
Right.
that then goes, okay, I'm going to do that task. I'm going to do that. And then we get really good at that. I just recognized that, like, I got very busy, and I had been doing acupuncture like every other week for a long time. And somehow it fell off my schedule.
Mm.
And I really miss it. My practitioner is like a goddess, and she, like, just is light, and you walk in, and just in an hour you just feel like a different person. It's not even for anything particular, it's just for me to, like, go and have something just for me. And I realized I'd been thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. And I put it, down on a list as one of my tasks for the week. And I moved it from pre-contemplation to contemplation. And then I took the action yesterday and set my appointment for next Tuesday. And I've gotten really good at that cycle of
Mhm.
going, oh, this thing fell a little bit, right? There was some falling away on this pillar, or falling away on this habit, or falling away on this self-care piece. I see
Mhm.
it much more quickly. I know how to put it on the list as a task and move it into action
Mhm.
quickly, so that I can get it back in my life. And that's sort of what I'm hearing from you, which is like, okay, we've contemplated. Now can we get good? I've made a list of tasks. We got to call about a private aqua class, call about this, looking on the Peloton. Maybe you do a 10-minute arm circuit after the Beyonce ride, and you start attaching those things. It's
Right.
really thinking about what you want to try and then just systematically, like we do at work, checking off the list and seeing which one sticks.
Okay.
Some
And
of
then
them
making
won't
it a
stick.
habit, and then
Yeah.
making it a habit, right?
And then making it habit, right? Making it a part of your habitual patterning. And
Mm,
even when you do, it does based on, we have schedule changes and, all this, that's what happened. Summer came and I was traveling and the acupuncture sort of felt, that's okay. No, no, no beating myself up. No, just, oh, I missed that thing. I put it on the list. I reschedule. It's that gentle, loving kindness that we always come from is so much more powerful than that. Oh, why'd you do this? Like, why
right.
can't you keep
And
up with anything?
beating up yourself, no,
The
that
beating
never,
of
it
myself.
never helps. It never works.
No, no.
Mm,
And it sounds like you've been able to get good at hearing that and being able to quell that voice really quickly and not believe it
fine.
anymore. Yeah.
Most of the time, there's
Most
some
of the time, we all have our days.
but most of the
The
time, we
sleep
get
helps. I
it
find
does.
the clean girl is much quieter after a good night
And
of
the exercise does help too.
magic.
From
Well,
past experience.
it's magic. Well, so can you imagine how you're going to feel as we get the sleep and the exercise layered up and in? You're going to be like on fire with energy and just
I think
so,
so.
so good. So awesome. I'm
I'll feel more
super
like my
excited.
old self, but in a better form.
I just think it's so great. It's so wonderful. It's such a beautiful thing to have you as a part of this
Thank
experience and
you.
this part
Thank
of
you for
my life.
doing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here tonight. This is amazing. And I know you've helped a lot of people navigate through their challenges. And I know they're going to go and really sit and think about why are they doing this and who are they doing it for?
Oh,
And
thanks, Liz.
that's some of the work we got to do.
Mm.
So thank you. And I better let you go to bed before you're gonna you gotta get up at 4:45. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for
Thank
doing this. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.